Well, we are delighted that it is that time of the month again when we talk to Jan about our tips in the garden. So what are we going to be talking about today, Jan?
Well, this is just an oddity. It's nothing that is a problem, but if you see, these are wild violets or garden violets,
Right.
not indoor violets. And this is mites on on a violet, and they roll up the leaves and make little condos.
So what do you do with those?
Nothing, because what happens is it does that when they first come out, and then it grows and doesn't do anything.
And it
at
becomes
all.
just fine.
Yeah, but if you see that, that's what it is.
That's what. Okay, so don't be scared.
No, no.
And then what else you got?
Well, we have the lemon, and here's look how much fruit there is.
Wow. Wow.
And so we'll see. I mean, it's funny, I tried not to get it to grow, and now it is, and now I think I probably ought to thin it a little bit. Right. We'll see how big they get or if they drop off.
So now it's
still growing.
It is, and it's making you
happy.
work even more to make it survive well.
For sure. And the other thing is, it's not too late to plant vegetables from seed, most things anyway. But you got to make sure, because of the warmer weather that we have, that you keep them moist. If you have them out in the garden, this is my second batch of some seeds. What happens is the first time between mice and slugs in the greenhouse, and now the greenhouse is clean. So this is row cover or remay. It's lots of commercial names, but I tucked this in, and now.
They actually grew.
They actually grew.
So that's a pretty simple solution to keep those little things out.
It is.
Wonderful.
It is.
So now we've got something else, but it's going to be outside,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, let's do that.
Alrighty. All right, Jan, so you brought me out into one part of the garden. What are we doing out here?
Well, a couple of things. One is to keep your pots watered, clay pots, dry out a little quicker because they breathe a little more. Make sure you water them deeply, or any plants in your garden that you're watering, not often and sprinkling them and getting your feet wet, but to make sure that the water's actually going down into the root zone.
And not rolling off somewhere else, but actually going to that.
So it's slow enough that it's going to penetrate the soil.
Yeah.
If you have a question about whether you're doing it well enough, dig down and find out when you're done watering whether or not the water is coming down.
And and you can correct me on this, but sometimes I find that when I water a container, it comes out the base really fast, but that doesn't mean it's been well watered, does it?
No, sometimes it'll actually slide over the top. If the top soil is dry, you'll water it and it'll slosh over because it won't go down. So go slowly on that as well. And as far as pots are concerned, or hanging baskets or whatever, if you're going to fertilize, water first, then fertilize. Because if your pots are dry, what'll happen when you fertilize is that sometimes those young feeder roots will fry with nitrogen or fertilizer.
And that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so you don't want if your pots are wet already, that's fine. But if not, then you need to make sure you water them first and then fertilize, and you get the best benefit of all of it.
Well, there you have it. So, every time we come here, we always learn a lot ourselves of what we can do in our garden. And we just wanted to remind you that should the heat continue, don't forget to water yourself as well. So we will do this again next month, right?
Okay.
All right.
Can do.
Thank you, Jen.